Boulder, Colorado is a very popular spot, not just to live, but to visit, or even to go to school there. There's no doubt it's an incredibly beautiful location. But let's be honest here. Is it overrated? Is it actually worth all the hype? Or worth that amount of money? I'll answer that in a bit. This is Life on the Front Range. Let's get started. So diving right in, the first thing we have to talk about is the cost of living. Maybe you already know this, maybe you don't, but Boulder is expensive. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Yes, the views there are stunning and the city attracts over 1 million visitors every year. But if you want to get those views every day, get ready to fork over around $1.2 million. That's the median. But okay, maybe you're just looking to rent. Well, if you're looking for a place by yourself, expect to pay around $1,750 a month for a studio. But across the board, rent's averaging at around $2.85K a month right now. That's a hefty bill. But housing aside, let's talk about some other costs. So Boulder across the board is around 36.6% more expensive than the national average. 23% for energy, 10.6% for healthcare, 8.8% for transportation. You get my point. So yes, Boulder is beautiful and it is a fantastic place to go and see. But for a lot of people, that bill is just way too high to justify actually living there. Okay, so the next reason is Boulder's traffic. Now this applies to anybody who's commuting into Boulder and Denver too. But traffic in Boulder can be quite rough. Or even traffic into Boulder can be rough. Not nearly on par with Denver, of course. But trying to get anywhere in the city can be a bit difficult. And I guess to tie in weather here, one could argue you could get around the city relatively easy by bike, or maybe even walking depending on the distance. But as it turns to the winter months, it can get very cold. And unless you're comfortable biking in 15-degree weather, you're gonna need a car. Plus, as I mentioned before, over 1 million tourists visit Boulder every year. So ignoring Boulder's normal traffic levels, add on the influx of people during peak tourism season. It's a bit busy on the roads, to say the least. But the most significant reason why Boulder is overrated is that there are other neighboring towns that are far better. Yes, you're not actually living inside Boulder, and the ease of getting exposure to that culture, as well as the experience of the outdoors, is not as immediate. But truth be told, if you're living in places like Longmont, Erie, or Broomfield, for example, the cost of living is significantly lower. There are more housing options available, especially if you're a bit tighter on budget, and you can still easily get into the city to experience Boulder. Arguably the most affordable one I'd recommend at least considering is Longmont, which is only about 25 minutes northeast, and it has a lot of its own benefits. I talk a bit more about Longmont in this video, but another I'd recommend is Erie, Colorado. This is a newer suburb, so to speak, that's experienced a crazy amount of interest over the past few years. If you're intrigued about Boulder but are in that group that loves the area and hates the prices, understandable, then check out this video here on Erie. I think you'll find it useful. This is Life on the Front Range. I'll see you there.